It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Wednesday, May 21st, and so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, do not follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have the world news, evangelism word study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone, how are you doing? Yes, it's a wonderful and awesome Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week. It's already the 21st. We have about, 10 days before the end of this entire month, and we get into Alpha Day, or the middle of the year. Don't forget, we have Q&A Thursday every single week. It's tomorrow, too, so send those questions whenever you can. Send them to me whenever you can, and if you haven't yet, please leave a like and comment to build our community, especially for today's message. I'm just really happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive, so let's get up and support each other each and every day. This week's Sunday message title is, I will repay everyone according to what they have done. All right, so it is a wonderful and awesome Wednesday. For me, it is still Tuesday night. It's actually late in the evening right now. It's been a very, very busy day meeting newcomers and being at work, but something made the day a little bit more, It made it a little bit more interesting today. Okay, so what happened was last night. I'm going to tell you this. So I've been having like these toothaches for a little bit, and you know how, I don't know if this is the male pride thing, but it's kind of like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not really a problem. Like, I'm just thinking about it this way. So I'm like going, it's not really a big problem. And then like several days ago, one of the teeth that I already had a crown on, it chipped. Like the part of it broke off. And I was like, I should go to the dentist or whatnot. And one of the things, I don't know what it is. I think is this a normal human thing where even like going to the doctor, you don't want to get checked up because you just don't want to know what's really wrong with you. You ever have, like, I'm going like, oh man, I'm going to the dentist. They're going to tell me I have 12 cavities and then I have to fix this and this. I'm going to have to pay like $10 million for this, right? So, I keep kind of pushing it off even though my tooth is broken. Like even right in front of me inside my bedroom, I have like the chipped tooth there just to remind me, and I just don't go. And finally yesterday, so what happened was yesterday, I was like, man, it's throbbing. I'm like, what's going on? And then I was like, what is this? And then when I kind of felt the area, it's like swollen. Right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's infected, I think, right? So I was like, oh, this is terrible. So, I looked in the mirror and like the bottom side of my face is swollen because of my gums. And I was like, oh, this is bad. And then the next morning, I went straight to the dentist without an appointment. I just went. They're like, whoa, okay, it's swollen. And they worked on it right away. And they said, oh, you have one of your nerves is dead or this and that. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, yeah, it's, you're going to need another crown. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. And they're like, yeah, it's, we got to clean that area, clean the nerve. And hopefully, it comes back to life or whatever it is. And I was like, all right. And like, yeah, there's a piece of like, in the root of your tooth, there's like a piece that's kind of, it's kind of rotting. You just got to cut that piece off and you'll be fine. And the infection will go away. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then I have to go back again today. So today I have to go back in the morning again to get it, to get the second cleanup. And then I think the next week I will get my crown. I think something like that. But I don't know. It's one of those feelings, but of course, it's a Providence dentist, and there's a bunch of things I realized from this. Like number one is just being able to go to having Providence big enough where I can drive 45 minutes to a dentist, which is a Providence dentistry. And they're like, it was kind of a funny thing. He's like, how are you financially? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm fine. He's like, where do you live? I'm like, oh, I live near Wilmington. He's like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm in headquarters. And then he kind of smirks because he's like, no. We know what you're getting paid. You don't have, you're not doing well financially. So he basically gave me this crazy discount, like a bunch of stuff. Like I probably saved a good like $200-300. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I still have to pay, but still it's way cheaper than, even when you go to the States or Canada, it's super cheap compared to that. So I was just like so thankful. So there's the first thing I was like, man, when our providence gets really, really big, this is when, there's like these huge benefits, right? Of being able to have these people you trust and people who understand your situation and stuff. And they're just like, they're just happy to help kind of thing, right? So I was really happy about that. So this is the first thing I was like, yeah, man, I can't wait till Providence grows in like other countries and stuff too. Like even, it's kind of cool because even when I'm in America, but America is a huge country, but there's a dentist there and I've been to the dentist over there too, but I don't normally go that often, right? So I just try to keep my teeth in good shape. I always floss and I always brush and I make sure that my teeth are in good condition as best as I can, but I do know I need to go in more. And like another realization I had, it was interesting because I was just like, if you don't take care of things, like if you take care of things quickly, it's cheap. Like you just they'll work on it very, very quickly. It's done. You get the stuff done and you don't have to, it's not going to be big work. But here I am putting things off. And it's almost like ignorance is bliss, where you're better off, like I feel like I'm better off not knowing what it is or how bad it really is, rather than, just going in and getting it fixed kind of thing. Like I've been here for like 10 months now, and I should have gone to the dentist at least once, right? And but I'm just like, I'm going back again. And since I waited so long, I'm going back to the dentist. I have to go like 3 times in 1 week. Right, and it's costing way more than if I just came in right away, kind of thing, right? So that first of all, it made me really think, like, man, you just got to take care of things right away. Another thing that I was thinking about that I thought was very interesting is when it comes to, like, say, dreams. One of the things some team said is whenever you have like loose teeth or broken teeth in dreams, the meaning of that, when you have loose teeth or broken teeth in dreams, is teeth are the visible bones, right? So since they're the visible bones, it's like the bones is your structure, right? It's the structure of your body. It's the the skeleton part of your body, right? So it's the structure. It's the foundation. And Sunseem said, like, in dreams, whenever you have loose teeth or broken teeth, it symbolizes your basic faith, the fundamentals of your faith, right? And when I was like going, wow, the root of one of my teeth is rotting, and they got to cut that part out, I was saying to myself, I was like, oh, that's very interesting because, when I look at myself and the issues that I struggle with, I look at it as like, oh, sometimes we're too busy just like brushing the surface. You know what I mean? Like we're not thinking about what is the actual root of the issue. Because what if the root part is rotten? You got to cut that part out. And it's kind of what Sunseem says in the past is if you want to change your heart, if you want to change yourself, one of the things that you should do is you should be able to, cut the parts of your heart out that are not good. Cut the parts of the heart out that are like hurting you and such. And I was like, oh, this is so true. And it made me think more deeply, like, hey, Sky, you got to look at your problems too. And when you look at your problems, like, what is the root of the problem? Don't just look at the problem itself. It's almost like you imagine you have a leak, and you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, there's a leak, and then all you do is cover up the leak, and then it starts leaking somewhere else, and then it starts leaking somewhere else, and you don't realize that the actual problem is, for instance, the pot itself, right, is too thin, or it's a weak pot that can't handle that much water or whatever it is. And because it's so weak, it keeps cracking, right? So here I am just trying to cover the holes when the reality is I have to be the one that looks at the root issue is, oh my gosh, I need a new pot, right? This pot is too old. This pot is too thin. This pot is too weak to handle what I really need, right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh man, let me start looking at, since this is God, giving me like a natural revelation of something that's really happening in my life. I was like, wow, then what is it, God, what types of things do I have to look at in my life about myself and what issues that I'm dealing with? And, of course, we all know the big things that we deal with, the big things that we're trying to fix, whether it's our patience, our anger, or different parts of our Cain's personality, right? Like number one in Cain's personality is like hot temper, right? So is it our hot temper? Is it your lust? Is it your anger? Is it your impatience? Is it like there's so many things in Cain's personalities. But when you look at the top ones, what's more important is what is the actual issue that you're dealing with? Like, what is the root cause, right? And if that root is rotten, you got to cut it out. And if you don't cut it out, you're going to be dealing with this. You're going to keep dealing with this problem over and over and over again. And that's something that just thinking about it all day, like, man, I just went through this, and like even now when I feel the side of my face, it's still swollen a bit. It went down a lot though. It went down a lot, but it's still swollen. But I'm like, man, like, what do I need to, like, what are the things that I need to look at the root cause of? And what am I going through right now? So, it was just a very, very interesting morning. And then I was able to go to the office, get some work done, do some interviews and stuff. And then I went to meet a newcomer and stuff like that too. But really, really interesting. You know what else is really interesting? Okay, so this is like, I remember I was telling you I was telling you guys about culture and the difference between Koreans and non-Koreans, right? Like, and me as a Westerner. It's so interesting because I was having an interview with this Korean person, but this person was speaking in English, okay? And the way that they were speaking, to me, it was just like, oh, okay. I guess this person doesn't really want this, want to do this kind of thing. Like, just the way that they were speaking in English, I was like, oh, okay, I guess this person doesn't really want it, right? But the thing that's so interesting is like, okay, but then right after, I had someone call me right away and was like, hey, do you know that this person really wants, like, is thinking this way? And I was like, really? Like, and for me, it was just so odd. I was like, the way this person is speaking and everything about what they're saying makes them sound like they don't, it's not a big deal, right? It's not something that they want to do. They're going to go find something else or this or that. I was like, oh, is this, like, that's what I was actually thinking. But later, like right after that conversation, I had, someone called me right after and says, who's in the interview, and like, do you know that they're thinking this way? I'm like, I'm totally not seeing that at all. I thought this person didn't want to even do it after they heard what the details were. And it was so interesting because I was like, whoa, it was the exact opposite. Like the nuance and the nuance in the way that they were speaking to me, it just made me feel like I was just feeling like, oh, they don't, it's not something that they're really, really looking at. So when I heard that, I got the call saying that, oh no, I think, they're really interested. I was like, no way. That is so crazy. And it's so different that even though we're speaking the same language, because we're coming from different cultures and styles, the way that they're saying it and doing it makes me feel completely opposite of what they're trying to say. Isn't that interesting? I was shocked by the conversation after, because I was like, I was totally off. I had no idea this person actually wants to, is thinking differently, that they're really interested, but in my mind, they weren't. I don't know. Like, I'm sure, like, I know that this type of stuff does happen, even with people inside the Western culture, right? Some people could be passive aggressive. Some people are more like blunt and open and stuff. But this was like, yeah, it was so odd because the feeling was, for me, I'm just like, oh, all right, this person, okay, I guess we can find someone else or something like that. But I was just like, oh, okay, that's a little bit different than what I expected. It really is. So yeah, it's something that I was looking at and I wasn't really sure about, but I was, it was so interesting. But either way, so like those are two things that were really interesting that happened. But right now, I guess because it's getting close to the halfway part of the year, man, it's getting busy, like super busy. And just meeting tons of people, meeting newcomers. I'm going to be lecturing someone today too, and yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm very, very. I'm actually happy right now that it's getting super busy. Like I'm realizing, okay, I need a schedule. I need a task. I need to figure out my tasks, my daily things that I need to do. I got to take a look at my schedule every day, understand who I'm meeting, why I'm meeting this person, what are the questions the preparations I need to do too. So it was something that I looked at. I was like, oh, okay, that makes, this is something that I like it now. It's getting busy. It was really bad when it was like not as busy and you kind of have to find things to do. But now it's getting into the busy point now. I have to really be organized. So I need to bring my, I got to bring a scheduler for sure. Look at like the things I need to do each and every day. And that's something that I want to make sure that I get on top of that and get a lot more organized for these types of things too. Yeah, it is. Oh man, it's getting so hot here. Like even inside my house, it's like 26 degrees. I have to turn on the air conditioning. Like this is the first day I'm turning on air conditioning. So it's kind of like, very, very grateful and thankful there is an air conditioner. But yeah, I've been doing this is the first day of the year I am doing air conditioning, and it's like 11 p.m. right now. Like that's kind of how hot it is. So yeah. Either way, so I'm in the comment section, I would love to hear what you guys are up to. Like, what are you guys up to? Like, what's going on in your mind? That's something that I'd be very interested in. Like, what are the things that you guys think about, or what are the things that you are really thinking about doing? Now that, the first half of the year is basically almost done, and we're going to start the second half of the year when Alpha Day begins. That's going to be the second half, right? My curious thing for you guys is like, what are you guys going to do? Like, what are the things that you want to do now with the second half of the year? Like for us, of course, all these events right after Alpha Day, I'll be going to Taiwan, and then after we are going to start to be preparing for the summer retreats, and also which is quite interesting. The tide stopping, right? There's two instances. There's one in Malaysia and there's one in Mongsampo, right? And what's that song called again? A Prayer is Work. When it talks about the miracle of the tide stopping in Mongsampo, this year is the 30th anniversary. As crazy as that sounds, which means it's like 1995 is when it happened, and now it's 30 years. So I have been getting some calls of like, oh, is there going to be any types of events or stuff like that too? And I was like, oh, that's crazy, 30 years. Next year is supposed to be 40 years of American Providence, which makes it like 40 years of American Providence is what? 2026 when the what do you call it? The World Cup is in America too. So that's kind of an exciting thing also. So yeah, lots of things to do. Whereas August 15th, it's the day, is it the day of independence in Korea? But that's also the day 30 years of independence. There's going to be the retreats going on, and then of course we're gonna have like what's that the Thanksgiving in Korea. This year is crazy. It's like all the holidays line up together. So there's like literally like Thursday. No, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is all a holiday. And basically if you take Friday off, then you're basically going to have another weekend. It's crazy like how many days are off this year, and this all in October, which is also during the Rock and Tree Festival and stuff like that too. It's a very different year. September looks like it's going to be pretty quiet, but October is going to be crazy busy, October. So that is something that I was looking at like, whoa, it's going to be a very, very interesting October, because October is also the month of giving glory, and then once again November is the final month of the year, because this is when God renders judgment in December, kind of thing, right? So quite interesting, and something that I am looking forward to a lot too, because I'm hoping that last year during Thanksgiving, there was people visiting from Mongolia and Hong Kong. So like there's two of us that had to stay during the vacation time. It was empty in Wollongdong, but there's foreigners there, so we had to stay. But I'm hoping that this year, that during this time, maybe I should be very, very clear for you guys out there. When is it? It's October. Where is it? It's June. 1 second. Let me see if it shows on this calendar. I think it's like October. What was it? 10, 11. Oh, no. It was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that was like, those are the days. And, I'm not going to say that you guys have to do this. I'm just saying that if it's possible, please do not plan anything during that time to come to Wonyeongdong. I want to go on a long vacation. I think I'm going to need it at that time too. But yeah, but it's kind of crazy for me, guys. It's already the end of May. That means June and July. That means in 2 months and 10 days, I'll be in my position in IMD for 1 year, which is kind of crazy. Like 1 year already. That's coming and going so fast. So for me, I'm kind of excited, but I'm just trying to figure out like what's going to be the future for me too. And I kind of look at this as like major mission. Just my feeling is this is going to be like my last major mission. Who knows? I could be doing something else more later, but it's just kind of one of those feelings. Or I think it's kind of good to look at it that way too, because if you think about it as your last, then you're more likely to want to do better. Right? You're more likely wanting to make sure that you end really well. Like you don't leave because, you've majorly screwed up, but you want to leave on good terms as in, hey, I did my best. I did 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. And now I'm done and I'm done. Right? And I can move on to the next segment kind of thing. So yeah, either way, that's just, I think sometimes it's good to look at things as your last. Well, especially at this age. But I think for some of you guys out there, you kind of look at it as a stepping stone towards like what you want to do next or what's the next level you want to reach and stuff like that too. But yeah, interesting things, a lot of things that I have been thinking about, right? Today, when it comes to the first music break of the day, we're going to play a brand new song. And man, this group, Horizon, which is the Japanese, there's a Japanese group, and they've been just doing song over song. They sent me this like even 2 weeks ago, like end of April. So it's been like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. And this new song, they said it's a refreshing song, perfect for the season. And there's also a video for it, but I'll be playing only the audio for this one too. And this song is called Flowers Wind. Flowers Wind. And the explanation of this song is, we thank God for loving us and creating a beautiful world, and we put our pride in living in this history, right? And that's kind of like, that's the feeling they put into the lyrics. So I hope you guys will enjoy this. This is Horizon, brand new song called Flowers Wind.
The wind told me that spring has come. The sunlight which is a gift from God to us. The smell of spring that I have been waiting for so long. Sparkling and shining, your smile blooms. We just a crystal turn into a butterfly. My innermost feelings burst forth. I will keep on walking this path. No matter what happens. Beautifully like the wind, I go toward the future. We are living in a beautiful world of blooming flowers, singing our song joyfully with a dream that in my heart. I got one of
All right, so let's get into today's evangelism word study. And this is kind of based on a question that someone put in the comments. Okay, so Ray, he's over there in Germany. He put this great question and comment that he put in because he said that he did send my Adam and Eve video, right? He sent the Adam and Eve video to his friends, and one of his friends actually responded to it. And then his next question was, well, what do I say next? You know what I mean? Like, well, now that he's kind of interested and he sees like, oh, this makes sense. What do you say next to carry the conversation on? Right? And this would be kind of like the next connecting point. So the first thing I was telling you guys is, all right, so if you send this video, the one about is Adam and Eve the first human beings, right? And people will listen to it. They're like, oh, that's so interesting. Or they're like, oh, I never thought about it like this. Oh yeah, Adam and Eve. Like, where did Cain find his wife? Right? So there's all these different things that people start to think about that are like kind of normal questions that should come about from reading the Bible. And now that the person's kind of interested, what is the next step? And I think this is a great question because a lot of times one of the hardest parts people have is making the actual connection to make people start listening to the word, right? To get people interested in the word. And what has to happen next is once someone's interest is piqued, what is the next step? Is you want to take that interest to the next level. Meaning, all right, so now that the interest is piqued, let's get into some other questions and you can start moving them towards some of the Bible studies. For instance, let's just say Sunstop, right? Where you can actually start bringing in questions like, hey, that's a cool, it's really interesting. Like you've never thought about the Bible that way, right? So what about this? Have you read this before in Joshua chapter 10, verse 12 to 14 that says the entire sun stopped in the middle of the sky for an entire day, right? And they'll be like, oh no, I've never read this. And you just give them another question. It's like, here's one thing that's quite interesting that we should think about is if it literally, if it actually happened, like the sun actually stopped for an entire day, 24 hours, do you think that only Israel would notice and no one else in the world would? Like people on one side of the world would have an extra day of night, and then people close to Joshua should have an extra day too. And, this battle is in the Mesopotamia region. But guess who's right next to them, which is Egypt. And what's more interesting about Egypt is they worship the sun god. They're always watching the sun, seeing if there's anything different, right? Yes, if the sun stopped for 1 hour, maybe no one would notice. But if it says an entire day, it means like 24 hours. You don't think people would notice if the sun stood still for 24 hours and then the other half of the world would all be in darkness for an extra 24 hours? You don't think that would be a real, that's something that no one would notice, especially people that do study the sun? And they'll be like, oh, I never thought about that, right? So I'm just giving the question that not even a question, I'm just presenting the problem. And I would be like, you know what? We have a Bible study on this, just on this question. Like, yeah, if you're interested, we do this on, Tuesdays or whatever it is. And then the person would be like, oh yeah, then maybe I'll do it, right? So what I'm doing now is, since I started with something very, Adam and Eve being the first is not like one of the big ones, right? It's not like part of any big lessons. But the good thing is it will pique someone that you can start to present like one of the bigger lessons, right? One of the Bible studies that we teach. And you're not going to even teach the whole thing. You just present the question so that they'll have a chance to kind of listen to it officially, kind of thing, right? And like that's one of the ways that I would do it, right? So that's one of the simple ways you can do it is you don't have to be able to teach everything. You don't have to teach everything, right? You just need to know like some of the issues or problems with like some of the stories in the Bible or some of the 30 lessons that we teach, and then just present that problem and say, hey, we got a Bible study that goes over this very thing here. What do you think about this? And then, people, you can see and you can gauge how much these people are really wanting to do this or not, or wanting to, learn the Bible more or not, right? So that is something that that's one of the ways that you can do it. And you don't need to study. You don't need to know all the Bible study, which is kind of cool because it means that, you're not going to be studying for every single part, right? So, 1 second. Yeah, so that's something that I looked at as like, yeah, that's one of the ways you can evangelize, and you don't have to know everything. And I think that's it's a much easier way to evangelize. So for you guys too, if you guys ever think about like, oh yeah, whatchamacallit, like I don't know how to evangelize, you don't know to lecture, that's okay. It's okay, right? You only need to know some parts of it, and you're done from that point, kind of thing, right? And that's all you need to learn, kind of thing. So, yeah. So yeah, either way. So it's quite interesting, and I hope it's something that we can really understand well. And I hope that this can help people when it comes to them going out to evangelize also. And yeah, this is why we have internet ministry too. This is why I actually made this YouTube channel also, so that you guys can use it as something that can pique people's interest and that people can watch and gain things from too. All right? Either way. So that is the Evangelism Word Study. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or anything else or anything about evangelism that I can bring up in this segment, go ahead, post it up, and I will help you guys out with this. And if you have any questions for tomorrow's Q&A Thursday, please let me know. Put in the comments below, or you can DM me, and we'll get into that too. All right? So yeah, before we get into the world news, let's move into the second music break of the day. Okay, so let's get into today's final segment of the Wednesday podcast. And we're going to go into some world news, like some of the 3 news articles that I've been looking at that might be very interesting for all of us. And it looks like Israel is they're running out of goodwill, at least when it comes to 3 countries of France, the United Kingdom, and Canada. And these 3 countries have issued their strongest condemnation of the way Israel is fighting the war in Gaza. Israel, they say, must halt its new offensive, which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says will destroy Hamas, rescue the remaining hostages, and put all of Gaza under direct Israeli military control. So their statement dismisses Netanyahu's argument and calls for a ceasefire, and together the 3 governments say that they strongly oppose the expansion of Israel's military operations in Gaza, adding the level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable, and they call for the release of the remaining hostages and recall that after the heinous attack on October 7th, they believe that the Israeli state had a right to defend Israelis against terrorism, but this escalation is wholly disproportionate, right? So there's the first news. So it seems like people are getting tired of this war and this offensive, but, this is what happens when, this is what time does, meaning as time goes further, you kind of forget what actually happened and what made this war actually start. So people, it seems like, are getting a little bit tired of it, at least those 3 countries. In other news, it's about President Trump also calling President Putin of Russia, and they're talking about Ukraine peace talks. So last year, Donald Trump promised he would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. And last week, he said that it would not be resolved until he and Russian President Vladimir Putin could get together and hash it out in person. And on Monday, right, the ground shifted again. After a 2-hour phone call with Putin, he said that the conditions of a peace deal could only be negotiated between Russia and Ukraine, and maybe with the help of the Pope. Still, the U.S. president has not lost his sense of optimism about the prospect for peace, posting on social media that the combatants would immediately start negotiations for a ceasefire and an end to the war. And that sentiment was somewhat at odds with the Russian view. Putin only said that his country is ready to work with Ukraine to craft a memorandum on a possible future peace agreement, and talks about memorandums and a possible future of peace hardly seems the kind of solid ground on which lasting deals can be quickly built. Right? Last but not least, we're going to stick to the U.S. It says, severe weather pummels the central U.S. as thousands recover from deadly tornadoes. So more tornadoes plowed through the central U.S. on Monday, ripping apart buildings and knocking out power as people from Texas to Kentucky continue to clean up from days of severe weather that killed more than 24 people and destroyed thousands of homes and buildings. At least 4 tornadoes were confirmed in Oklahoma and Nebraska on Monday evening, according to a preliminary report from the National Weather Service. And across Oklahoma, at least 10 homes were destroyed and multiple buildings were damaged, including a fire station that was wiped out, according to the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management. A spokesperson for the agency said they have not received any reports of injuries or deaths, but they say around 115,000 people were without power in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, according to reports, and parts of several highways were also closed due to flooding and storm damage. So, yeah, that's kind of the news that's kind of going on right now. And nothing like massively any big turns. Most of the elections have been done, which is quite interesting for Korea, because Korea has, right after Alpha Day is going to be the Korean election for the new president. So that's going to be quite interesting too. But let's see what happens there. It feels like it's a good turning point as the new, starting the second half of the year after Alpha Day. They're going to be voting for a new president, which is quite interesting. Either way, so that's the world news. If you have any other news that you want me to report about, go ahead, put it in the comments. Love to hear about that too. And if anything else, would love to hear your comments about anything from today's podcast also. All right, everyone, have an amazing and awesome day, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's The morning star drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know